Now, I have lived in public housing in Phoenix nearly 25 years, 2 complexes. And during that time, I have seen a lot of violence due to illegal drug activity. On the west side, where I lived 13 years, I saw a man shot right in front of my place. I saw men with machine guns going up and down my stairs. And later, these same men shot 5 people to a party down the road, and 2 of them died. Well, we tried to get the woman out who was harboring these people, and of course they were involved in drug and gang wars. And when we evicted her, due to our reports and our complaints, she screamed at us as she was leaving, "I'll come back and get you all on a drive-by shooting." And so I was a little bit scared about that. But these murders that I saw with my own eyes, I thought a lot about what I could do about it. I couldn't be a reporter. I was disabled. I had chronic fatigue syndrome, so I couldn't, really work at jobs. But I'm a playwright, and I've been writing plays since I was in college, so I reasoned that I could write about these problems, and then I could get theater companies downtown to put these plays into their theaters. This would be a way to get people to thinking about their own Phoenix problems. Another way, theater. Well, I ran into a very huge problem with getting my plays done in downtown Phoenix. It just wasn't done. Theater companies would always say, well, the risks, in fact, they wouldn't even consider local playwrights. And I said, why not? Why don't theater companies let the voices of the people in their own cities speak and do their dramas? Now, it's very hard to sell a play for people to spend millions of dollars on your screenplay. That's a lot harder to sell. But I say theater companies in your city can address these problems, and their audiences can look beyond the latest Pulitzer they want to see, the latest Tony, the latest thing out of New York. They can have more tolerance for local playwrights, give them a chance to tell what they're experiencing right here in their city. Now, right now, I'm involved in a conflict with my next door neighbor, and the problem, I believe, is illegal drugs. I think this guy, I saw 3 women that are reputed to sell drugs, all knocking on his door in one day. Now, this was several months ago, and I just was sort of shocked because I didn't think he was doing this, and I said to him, I told him these were 3 women who had been reputed to sell drugs in here. And was he on drugs?
Tell him it wasn't me.
No, well, anyway, now I found out that he brooded about this, and he thought, the nerve of her interfering in my business and asking me if I'm on drugs. Well, I hoped that he would tell the women that I said they were drug dealers, so they would sort of be a little more cautious. That's what an old lady has to do to even keep her end of the complex safe.
Do you think
that's why we get excited about drugs?
An old lady is
because it causes people to act out.
An old lady is going to scare a drug dealer?
No.
Male or
no,
female?
He's not. But she can report it to management, and he can get scared he's going to get evicted. Because it's their job to try to weed out, and they have evicted a number of people that they caught or were able to get evidence that they were buying right in front of the building, or they were smoking marijuana in their apartment and
Tell
letting
about
the
the
smoke.
85-year-old guy that got
Yeah,
convicted.
oh yes, another 85-year-old guy was smoking marijuana and he was just letting the smoke come out. And management happened to pass by.
It was a camel.
And they evicted him even though he was 85 years old.
I thought you said 85.
Yes, he's 85. He was 85. And, so if they do happen to get some evidence, well, they will evict for illegal drug activity. But in the meantime, here's this guy that I think is, the drugs are now affecting him to the point that he can't control himself. He can't be civilized. He pounded on my door. He left me a note, called me names, scared me. So I'm forced to respond. I'm forced to respond. And I write plays about this.
Does he have access to a computer?
I write plays
Because if he does,
that
that's
the
not
people
a good
in
thing.
Phoenix need to see. You would think that theater companies would want more interest in theater. And I can't think of anything that would eventually interest people more than if playwrights in their own home state, their own town, were writing plays about the problems. We have huge problems here in Arizona.
How about this? The playwright writes the plays, and then instead of getting actors, they get the real people.
Oh,
Because
yeah. See,
Well,
I've been
this is
reduced to using
reality
him
TV, right?
for my actor and putting the plays up on YouTube about the things that I've experienced here in Phoenix.
Jeez.
The violence. It's almost like we have theater snobs who don't want to see the life. They're liberals. They support causes and liberal causes, but they don't want to see the actual lives of the people who are living out here in the ghettos, in the violent housing complexes, like me, 13 years on the west side, heard so much gunfire, so many bullets flying, so many bullets hitting the walls. And what? I'm an ignorant hillbilly? Yes, I'm from the hillbilly country of southern Utah.
2 minutes.
But I read books, I write, and so far I cannot get a theater company to do my plays. What do you think about that? Are the theater companies paying enough attention to what they can do to help their community, to fight crime? Oh, I've got to fight crime, even though I'm 78 years old. I've got to figure out how to keep alive, survive the violence, and I've been doing it for a long time. How to survive when bullets hit your walls and you have to go out in the hallway and lay down and call the police.
Now, wait a minute.
Come and get this guy. He's shooting up our complex.
Well, this is not where I live.
No, the Westward Ho is the safest one I've lived in. But that one out there on the west side is probably just as violent today as it was then. And I lived there 13 years. Drug dealers, the drug wars are what make a complex like that violent. So that is the main cause. So, theater companies, are you listening?
I know I am.